Hi guys, Shaun from Optics. So I can't remember if we've actually done a Hawke Sidewinder H5 review. So this is a brand new series of Sidewinders from Hawke. They've come in and they've gone straight back out, and currently they are out of stock with Hawke. So it shows these are selling really well, and they've taken some improvements over the older series, which was around for a very long time and definitely Hawke's bestseller. And they've taken them and improved the scope even further. So on my left we have the second focal plane, and on my right we have the first focal plane. I can't tell any difference between the two and I don't think there really is, apart from the reticule plane inside of them. They are very much the same scope. I looked at the specs quickly just to confirm, and they both have 20mm rad of internal adjustment. Sometimes the first focal planes have a little bit less across other brands, but no, these are both the same. They've got 20mm rad. They're both 0.1mm rad clicks, and they both feature illumination. Both got the 56mm objective. The only thing that is different is the reticule, and that is just the fact there's first focal and second focal. The second focal plane features a 20 times half mil dot, and the first focal plane just has a half mil dot first focal plane rep. So both scopes have a 30mm main tube. They got that 70 MOA of internal adjustment, or 20mm rad. They're both mil radian based scopes, so even the second focal plane has gone from quarter MOA onto 0.1 mil rad clicks, and this is definitely the evolution we're seeing across a lot of scopes now. The European market is mostly a 0.1 mil rad click or mil radian reticule area, just down to the fact that everyone does work in meters over there, and Hawke have definitely seen a good rise over in that area in terms of sales, so they started to gear their scopes more towards those areas. With both optics, you've got the fast focus diopter adjustment. You also have a locking ring there to lock it into place. You've got on the magnification, it's a 6-24, and it's knurled. It's nice and easy to turn. The unit is much sleeker in comparison to the older one. The finish is much nicer. They used to basically, on the illumination, for instance, it was in red and green, and sometimes the numbering was slightly off. The way it's been printed on there, and they've cleaned that up a lot. It looks much more smoother. You've got the very simple Hawke logo just located here on the eyepiece. Very nice, simple, and definitely, as you can see with the branding, it's all very fitting. As I said, 30mm main tube. We move then onto the saddle of the scope. We've got the side illumination here, and it's 6 steps, and you have a step in between each number. We've got side focus down to the air rifle ranges, and this is what originally Hawke were renowned for. But these scopes, especially these and even the predecessors, a lot of people were putting them onto centre fires, and they were getting some really good results out of them. So in terms of the glass quality, there's been a step up in this glass, and they're using the brand new crown glass system. There's basically a form of like an ED glass, and it removes the chromatic aberration, and that step up in glass quality will make this scope even better for a lot of shooters, removing that chromatic aberration, those sort of the colours, the yellows and the greens you see around the edges of say if you're looking into a bush, for instance, and the branches, you start to see the hues around the edges. This crown glass helps to remove it, so they've installed that new system in there. We've got on the elevation turret basically a turn indicator, very visual, and you can see once I pulled the turret up, because it was in the lock position, you simply adjust that, and you've got your visual indicator for knowing which turn you're actually on. I then push down the turret to lock it into place. Very easy, positive, and actually it pushes right into place really nicely. That was always an issue with sort of the predecessors' turrets, was the fact that they weren't necessarily that smooth on the lock-in system, whereas this, they seem to improve massively. On the windage, one thing I will point out again is lock-in turrets, push in, pull out, but they don't count left or right. Quite a simple thing they could have done, but it's something that if, for instance, you did get confused, you can basically, if you coloured the left red, you'd be able to simply tell which where your turret direction is. That's something I've seen quite a lot of people do, and that's something we see on the IORs from the factory, and people have sort of incorporated that onto the lower budget items. The price wise of this scope, the second focal plane's around the £550 mark, and the first focal plane is coming out at around 650. So these Sidewinders are definitely jumped a step up in price. That being said, Hawke have said there's been a huge improvement on the glass quality itself. So with that big jump up in price, you are actually getting a lot better glass in there, and it's something else that they've improved is the field of view. They say it's about 20% increase in field of view, and especially when you pair that with the first focal plane or any scope, having that wider field of view helps with the rapid target acquisition. So they've definitely used a lot of knowledge they've learnt from over the years and installed them into these new Sidewinders. The Sidewinder range is still including the 8 to 32 by 56. That's not included with a first focal plane reticule. You've got the 6 to 24 by 56. That's with a second and a first focal plane. You've got the 4 to 16, again with a first and a second focal plane ret. And with those models in the second focal plane, you do get the 2 reticule choices. If you want any further information on the Hawkes we have in stock, or just basically any rifle scope, make sure you head over to our website, jump on the phone to us, or drop us an email, and we'll be happy to help. Cheers, guys.